Hello and welcome to English Spark Official. I'm Zayden, joined as always by Alara.
Hey everyone! We're so excited about today's topic.
Okay, let's unpack this. If you want to, sound fluent in a new language today, the very first thing you need to do is actually stop using big, impressive words.
Yeah, which is, it's a very hard truth for a lot of learners to accept, right?
Oh, for sure. Because, we spend years in school trying to learn the longest, most difficult words possible. We think, those words will make us sound super professional.
Exactly. We think they make us sound smart. But trying to sound smart is, ironically, exactly what makes you sound like a robot.
Right. And I always thought, learning a language meant showing off my vocabulary. If I use a big word, people will think, oh, wow, this person is very intelligent. But you're saying my big vocabulary is actually hurting my pronunciation.
It is severely hurting it, yeah.
Good.
And that is really the core focus of our deep dive today. We're exploring this really fascinating document called the Intonation Architect, Fluent Podcast Scripting Blueprint.
Which is, that's a pretty long title.
It is a long title, yeah. But we are looking at its most important lesson today, which is called intonation patterns. How to avoid sounding like a robot.
Right. And listener, I want to talk directly to you for a second. It really doesn't matter if you're learning English as a second language or, if you just want to speak more clearly in your native language. This blueprint reveals the actual secrets to sounding natural, sounding human. It basically teaches us how to drop the textbook and just talk.
Dropping the textbook is like the very first rule. The blueprint gives us a very clear instruction for our conversation today, actually. It says we must start with simple vocabulary.
Okay, yeah.
We have to keep our sentences clear and smooth. Any difficult word just must be explained naturally.
So we're making a promise to you, the listener, right now. We're going to follow that rule today. We will not use complex academic jargon. We will use simple English.
Right.
But, we are still going to discuss some very deep, mature concepts about how the human brain works.
Because before we can even fix the problem of the robot voice, we really must understand the psychology behind it, right? The blueprint strictly forbids robotic or repetitive phrasing. It wants a natural, human-like conversation.
But I want to push back on this idea just for a moment, if that's okay. Because, why do we even develop a robot voice in the first place? Think about it. We are human beings.
Right.
We have human emotions. We feel joy, anger, fear, excitement. Yet, when an adult opens their mouth to speak a new language, all that human emotion just disappears.
It vanishes, yeah.
Out comes this flat, mechanical computer voice. Why do we lose our feelings when we change our language?
Well, it's a defense mechanism mostly. It comes from fear. If we connect this to the bigger picture of how adults learn, we see a lot of trauma from traditional schools.
Oh, interesting. School trauma.
Yeah, because a textbook teaches you the rules, right?
Yeah.
It gives you a list of words. It tells you what is strictly right and what is completely wrong. So when you finally speak, you are just terrified of making a mistake.
That makes so much sense. You're so worried about choosing the wrong verb, you just forget to be a human. You're literally just trying to survive the sentence.
Exactly. You're in survival mode. But textbooks only teach you what words to say. They don't teach you the music of the words. And that music is called intonation.
Intonation.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we explain that clearly for everyone, because it's not just about, having a nice radio voice.
No, not at all. It is a physical action. Intonation is the way your voice actually goes up and down when you speak. It's the melody.
The melody, right?
Yeah. When you ask a question, your pitch changes. When you're angry, your pitch changes. Without that intonation, your voice is just completely flat.
I want to look at the psychology of that flat voice, though. Because you called it a defense mechanism earlier. Are you saying a flat voice is like a way of hiding?
Yes, exactly. From a psychological view, intonation is a survival signal. Human beings evolved to listen to the music in each other's voices.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
So when a person speaks with a melodic voice, their pitch goes up and down, right? That sends a signal directly to your brain. It says, I am open. I am safe. I am a friendly human.
And so what happens when the voice is just totally flat?
Well, when you hear a flat robotic voice, your brain receives zero emotional data. It cannot read the person's feelings at all.
Oh, that's scary for the brain.
Very. So your brain treats that person as a potential danger. It thinks, this person is hiding their emotions. They are not safe.
That is a huge insight. So wait, when I speak in a language with a flat voice, just because I'm nervous about my grammar, the native speaker actually feels uncomfortable talking to me.
Yes.
Not because my grammar is bad, but because I sound emotionally unsafe.
Precisely. You are sending a subconscious signal that you're a machine, not a friend.
Let's bring this into daily life with a simple example, just so we can hear it. Let's use the phrase, good morning. I mean, we say it every single day.
A perfect example.
I'll demonstrate the flat defensive voice first. Like, I'm nervous. I only care about getting the words right. Good morning, how? You.
Oof. That sounds incredibly cold. Like if you said that to a coworker, they would 100% think you are angry with them.
Right. The speed is perfectly equal. The pitch never changes at all. Now let's add the survival signal. Let's add the safe, friendly music. Good morning, how are you?
The change is just massive. When you say morning, your voice rises. It literally bounces up.
It's bounce, yeah.
And that physical bounce in your voice tells my brain, hey, everything is good. We are friends.
So if the music is so important for making people feel safe, how does the blueprint suggest we actually learn it? We know the problem is fear and the solution is music, but what are the actual steps?
Well, the blueprint provides a very specific map for this. It targets learners at the A2 to B2 levels.
Let's define those levels quickly for the listener, just so we're all on the same page. A2 basically means you're a beginner. You know, basic words, you can handle simple daily tasks.
Right. And B2 means you're upper intermediate. You can hold a solid conversation, but you're not completely fluent yet.
Okay, got it. So what's the map?
The blueprint gives a golden rule for moving from A2 to B2. It says, start with simple vocabulary, gradually increase difficulty. You must never jump straight to difficult words.
Okay, I see a problem with that rule, though. If I just stay with simple words, how will I ever reach the advanced level? Like, shouldn't I force myself to use hard words every day so I learn them faster?
See, that is the trap we discussed earlier. That's the school mindset. If you force yourself to use hard words right now, you destroy your intonation. We really need to think about how the brain manages energy.
I've heard the brain compared to like a computer processing different programs at once.
A computer is a good comparison, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's use something even more physical. Imagine your brain energy is a single cup of water. You only have one cup.
Okay. 1 cup of water.
When you speak a new language, you have to divide that water up.
Okay, so what am I pouring the water on?
You pour some water on vocabulary, you pour some water on grammar rules, you pour some water on your physical mouth movement, and you pour some water on intonation, the music.
Oh, I think I see where this is going. If I try to use big, complicated academic words, and I'm also trying to use perfect, super difficult grammar.
You pour almost all your water on grammar and vocabulary.
Exactly. Your cup is empty.
Wow.
You have literally 0 water left for intonation. You have no energy left to control the pitch of your voice. So your voice just goes flat, the robot returns.
That makes perfect sense. My brain is working so hard just to find the word furthermore, or nevertheless, that it completely forgets to make my voice bounce.
Exactly. And this is exactly why the blueprint demands simple words. If you use simple A2 level words like but, and, or happy, you use very little water.
Because I already know them.
Right. Your brain does not have to work hard to remember them.
And because my brain is relaxed, I have lots of extra water left in my cup. I can use that extra energy to focus completely on my intonation. I can focus on actually sounding human. Yes, keeping the vocabulary simple allows you to build the muscle memory for the music. You have to master the music with easy words before you can even think about adding difficult words.
So we climb the stairs slowly. We stay on the bottom step with easy words until our voice sounds naturally melodic. Then we take the next step.
Exactly. It's a progression.
But speaking is only half of the conversation, right?
Right.
Does the blueprint talk about listening at all?
Oh, it talks heavily about listening. You cannot produce a melody if you don't even know how to hear it first. The blueprint requires very specific tools to force the listener's brain to pay attention.
What kind of tools? Like, what does it tell us to do?
Well, it mandates the use of listening focus cues. For example, the scriptwriter must use the exact phrase, listen carefully.
Okay.
It also demands the use of short pauses written directly into the flow of the speech.
I actually want to challenge the idea of short pauses. Because when I watch movies, the cool, smart characters, they always speak very fast. They never pause. They fire words like a machine gun. Doesn't pausing just make you sound unsure or kind of slow?
That is such a common illusion. Fast speaking in movies is written by scriptwriters to create tension in a scene. But in real life, speaking too fast without pauses does not make you sound smart. It makes you sound incredibly nervous. And worse, it makes the listener feel overwhelmed.
Why does the listener feel overwhelmed, though? Like, what is actually happening in their brain when I talk too fast?
Think of spoken words as small balls. Every time you say a word, you are throwing a ball to the listener. The listener has to catch the ball, look at it, understand it, and put it in their pocket.
Okay, I have that image. I'm catching the word balls.
Now, if you speak extremely fast, you are throwing 100 balls at the listener at the exact same time.
Right, that's too much.
The listener's brain just cannot catch them all. They start dropping the balls. They miss your meaning entirely. They feel stressed.
So a pause is not actually about me, the speaker. A pause is like a gift to the listener.
It's a completely necessary rest period. A short pause gives the listener's brain time to catch the ball, put it away, and get ready for the next one. It shows that you care about their understanding. It actually shows confidence, not fear.
That reframes pausing completely for me. But what about that specific phrase, listen carefully? Why must we use those exact words?
We must use them to fight against battery saving mode.
Battery saving mode, like on my mobile phone.
Yes, exactly like that. The human brain is always trying to save energy. When you listen to someone speaking for a long time, especially if their voice is a bit flat, your brain recognizes a pattern. It says, okay, I know this sound. It is not dangerous. I can just relax.
And when the brain relaxes too much, it just stops paying close attention. It goes into battery saving mode. I know this feeling so well. Sometimes someone is talking to me, and I suddenly realize, oh my gosh, I have not heard a single word they said for the last minute.
Exactly. You habituated to the sound. Your brain turned off. So to break that pattern, the blueprint uses a cue. When you say listen carefully, you send a small shock to the listener's brain.
You break the pattern. The brain wakes up and says, wait, a new instruction. Something important is coming. Turn the power back on.
Let's demonstrate this for the listener right now. Let's show them the difference between throwing balls too fast and then using a cue with a pause.
Okay, listener, I am going to say a sentence fast with no cues, no pauses. Try to catch the balls. Here we go. Your voice is an instrument, and you have to learn how to tune it every day if you want to sound human.
Yeah, that just rushes past you.
It feels like one long, heavy block of sound.
It does. Now use the tools. Use the cue and use the short pause.
Listen carefully. Take a breath. Your voice is an instrument.
Do you feel the difference there?
I feel it in my own chest when I say it. The silence, after listen carefully, it really builds anticipation. It makes the next words feel heavy and, I don't know, valuable.
It forces the brain to open its hands and just wait for the ball. It is a powerful psychological tool, and a robot never uses it. A machine just reads the text from start to finish. Only a human understands the actual power of silence.
This is fascinating. So we have simple words, we have cues, and we have the power of silence. But the blueprint has even more rules. It strictly states we must avoid complex academic jargon without explanation. And it demands real-life examples, relatable situations, and practical usage.
Yes. The blueprint insists that intonation cannot be learned in, like, an empty white room. It must be learned in the dirt and mess of daily life.
I totally understand avoiding jargon. Like, nobody wants to read a science paper when they're just trying to learn how to say hello. But why does this situation matter so much? Why is a relatable daily life example better than, say, a formal business example?
Because context drives emotion. And as we learned earlier, emotion drives intonation. If I give you a practice sentence about a corporate merger, you feel nothing. Your voice will be flat. But if I give you a practice sentence about spilling hot coffee on your favorite shirt, you feel panic. Your pitch will naturally jump.
So we need situations that naturally create human reactions. The blueprint specifically mentions using interruptions, reactions, agreement, and light humor. It wants us to actually mimic real conversation.
Let's fulfill this requirement right now, actually. We will perform a little role play. We'll do a simple daily life situation. We will look at how a textbook might teach it, and then how real humans actually do it.
Oh, I love this. Let's use the classic example, ordering a coffee at a cafe.
Sure.
Because almost every single language learner studies this.
They do. First, let's do the robotic textbook version. No interruptions, no emotion, flat intonation. I will be the customer. You are the barista.
Okay, I'm ready. Hello. Welcome to the cafe. What do you want to order?
Hello, I would like one coffee. Please give it to me now.
Okay, that is $5. Thank you.
Here is $5. Goodbye.
Wow. That was actually painful to do. It sounds like two computers talking to each other in a factory. There is zero music. There's no survival signal.
But notice, it is perfectly correct grammar.
Yeah, technically.
But it is a complete failure of communication. Now, let's do the natural version. We will add interruptions. We will change our minds mid-sentence. We will use the music.
Okay, resetting the scene. I am wiping down the counter. You walk up. Hi there. Welcome. What can I get started for you today?
Oh, hi. Listen, I am so tired today. Can I get a coffee, please? Like a really big one.
Oh, no. A slow morning, huh? I completely understand. You want a big hot coffee or iced?
Definitely hot. Wait, actually, do you have any of those little chocolate cookies?
The chocolate chip ones, yes. We literally just baked them. They are still warm.
Oh, perfect. Yes, I will take one of those too. That will save my morning.
You got it. One big hot coffee, one warm cookie. Coming right up.
All right, let's stop the role play right there and just unpack the mechanics of what just happened.
I really want to look at the very first question you asked me. You said, "Can I get a coffee, please?" But the way you said it was very specific.
I use the classic question intonation pattern. In English, when you ask a question that needs a yes or no answer, your voice generally rises at the end.
It's almost like your voice is physically reaching up to ask for the answer.
Sure.
Can I get a coffee, please? The pitch goes really high on the word please.
Yes. If I use the flat robot voice, can I get a coffee, please? It entirely stops being a question. It becomes a demand. It sounds extremely rude and aggressive. The rising music is what makes it polite and soft.
The rising music is the survival signal. It tells the barista, hey, I am asking you nicely. I am not commanding you. And I noticed something else you did. You interrupted yourself.
I did, yeah. I said definitely hot. Wait, actually?
Textbooks hate interruptions.
Yeah.
I want you to speak in perfect, clean lines. But when you said wait, you paused. Your voice dropped a little bit. You showed me your brain was working in real time.
And that messiness is exactly what makes it human. When you interrupt yourself, you prove you are thinking, not just reading a script. And when you showed agreement, you used humor. You said, a slow morning, huh?
My voice went up on huh to show sympathy. We built a real connection there. We used very simple words, coffee, cookie, hot, tired, but we used incredibly complex music.
That is the whole goal of the A2 to B2 progression. But, passive listening to our role play is not enough for the learner. The blueprint demands action.
Yes, the text is very strict here. It requires repetition of key phrases. It demands a dedicated shadowing practice section. We actually must use the exact instruction, repeat after me.
Shadowing is the bridge between knowing the music in your head and actually singing the music with your mouth.
Can you explain the concept of shadowing a bit more? Like I think of a shadow on the ground when I walk out in the sun. It follows my every move.
That is actually the perfect mental image. If you raise your hand, your shadow raises its hand. It matches your timing perfectly. In language learning, shadowing means treating a native speaker's voice like the person and your own voice as the shadow.
Oh, I see. So I did not just repeat the words. I have to match the pitch, the speed, the emotion, everything.
Think of a musician learning to play a famous guitar solo. They don't just read the notes on a piece of paper in silence. They play the original recording loudly in their room, and they play their own guitar over it again and again. They try to match the exact feeling of the original player. They train their fingers.
So shadowing is training the muscles in our mouth and our throat. We are physically teaching our vocal cords how to bounce.
Exactly. So we are going to do a dedicated shadowing section right now. We will guide the listener through it.
Okay, listener, this is your moment. You must move your mouth for this. You cannot do this practice silently in your brain. If you're walking outside, speak out loud. If you're sitting on a crowded train, just whisper. But you must force air through your vocal cords. You must feel the music physically.
We are going to give you 3 simple phrases, all A2 level vocabulary, but we will focus entirely on the emotion and the pitch.
Phrase number 1. The emotion is happy and friendly. You are greeting a friend. The survival signal is very strong here. Your voice must bounce up at the end.
Listen carefully and repeat after me. How are you today?
Take a few seconds to try.
Did you feel your pitch go up on the word today?
If it stayed flat, try pushing your eyebrows up when you say it. Seriously, sometimes moving your face really helps move your voice. Let's try it again. Match the happy music.
How are you today?
Okay, excellent. Now, phrase number 2. The emotion changes completely. You are very excited. Your friend just told you they got a new job. You need to put strong physical energy on the word so. You push a lot of air out on that word to show your excitement.
Repeat after me. That is so cool.
Give it a try.
Did you stretch the word so?
It should be long. So. Let your voice just ride high on that excitement. Try it one more time as a shadow.
That is so cool.
Perfect. Now for the last phrase, phrase number 3. The emotion is very different here. You are slightly confused, and you are apologizing because you need help. Your pitch should drop. Your speed should slow down. It is a gentle, soft sound.
Repeat after me. I don't understand.
Notice how the voice gets quieter at the end. You are showing vulnerability. You are dropping your defense mechanism. Drop your chin slightly and try it one last time. Shadow the soft feeling.
I don't understand.
That is fantastic work. And listener, I know that can feel very, very strange. When you first try to push real emotion into a new language, you feel silly. You feel like an actor exaggerating on a stage.
But feeling silly is the proof that you were doing it correctly. The robot voice protects you from feeling silly. The robot voice is a shield. When you use intonation, you put the shield down. You expose your true human feelings. It requires a lot of courage.
Every time you shadow a phrase and risk feeling silly, you are literally breaking the old stiff patterns in your brain. You are building new musical pathways.
So we have explored the psychology, the rules, the examples, and the active practice. But there is one final piece to this blueprint. We need to look at how the document structures all of this information.
Right, because it is not enough to just throw all these tools in a giant pile. The blueprint comes from a channel named English Spark Official, and it dictates a very specific, blended structure for teaching.
It lists many mandatory components: a hook to grab attention, a greeting, an introduction, a core explanation, a deep dive, examples, practice sections, a recap, a practice assignment, a motivational closing.
That sounds incredibly heavy. It sounds like a massive university syllabus, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. If I saw that list as a learner, my brain would immediately go into stress mode. My cup of water would spill everywhere.
And that is exactly why the blueprint includes a massive strict warning. It says in bold letters, "Do not label sections explicitly."
Do not label the sections. So we are basically forbidden from saying, and now, listener, we are beginning Chapter 4, the examples.
Correct. The blueprint states, everything must feel like a natural conversation.
I really want to look closely at the psychology of this rule. Why is hiding the labels so important for the listener's brain?
Think about the trauma of the traditional classroom we discussed earlier. In school, a teacher says, open your book to the grammar section. Now we will do the test.
Just hearing the word test makes my muscles tight.
Exactly. The labels, grammar section, practice test, core lesson, they are triggers. They trigger anxiety. When your brain hears those labels, it thinks you are being judged. It prepares for failure. Your muscles tighten. And tight vocal cords simply cannot produce natural intonation.
That is a brilliant connection. If the learner is stressed by the labels, the robot voice automatically comes back to protect them.
So, English Spark removes the triggers entirely. By hiding the labels, the lesson stops feeling like a formal exam. It starts feeling like a warm conversation with a friend.
It is like drinking a fruit smoothie. When you drink a smoothie, you don't eat a strawberry and then chew a piece of ice and then eat a piece of banana. They're all blended together into one smooth experience. You get all the nutrition, but you just enjoy the drink.
The blended structure completely bypasses the brain's defense mechanisms. The learner absorbs the grammar, the vocabulary, and the music without ever feeling the stress of studying.
You know, I just realized something very interesting about our own conversation today. We have been analyzing the English Spark blueprint by secretly following the English Spark blueprint.
We certainly have. We followed the exact blended structure.
We started with a hook about how big words make you sound like a robot. We moved smoothly into the introduction and the core explanation about the brain's energy cup. We did the cafe examples, we did the shadowing practice, and we never once stopped to read a chapter title.
We respected the listener's brain by keeping the conversation natural. We proved that the blueprint works in real time.
Which brings us naturally to the recap phase, because the blueprint requires us to summarize the deep dive.
Right. Today, we explored how to avoid sounding like a robot. We learned that the flat voice is not a lack of intelligence, but a defense mechanism driven by fear.
We learned that we must start with simple A2 vocabulary. If we use easy words, we save our brain energy for the music. We can focus on the survival signals of pitch and melody.
We learned how to use short pauses to throw words slowly, letting the listener's brain actually catch the balls. We learned how to use cues like listen carefully to break the brain's battery-saving mode.
We saw that daily life examples like ordering a coffee are so much better than academic jargon because real life creates real emotion, and emotion creates intonation.
Finally, we practiced shadowing. We learned that to build muscle memory, we must act like a voice shadow, copying the exact feeling and pitch of the speaker.
The blueprint is fully unpacked, but there's one final instruction on the list. The blueprint requires a practice assignment. We must give the listener something to do tomorrow.
Well, if the secret to natural speech is dropping the textbook and mimicking real human emotion, then your classroom is no longer in a school. Your classroom is everywhere.
I love this idea. The whole world is the classroom.
So here is your assignment, listener. Tomorrow, find a human voice to study. Maybe you watch a favorite actor in a movie. Maybe you listen to a podcast. Or maybe you just listen to the barista when you buy your morning coffee.
But do not just listen to their words. Listen to their music.
Exactly. I want you to silently shadow them, steal their natural music. When the actor gets angry, notice how their pitch changes. Whisper the line, matching their anger. When the barista says, "Have a great day," listen to the bounce in their voice. Steal that bounce.
Try on different voices like you were trying on clothes. See how the music feels in your throat. You do not need a grammar book for this. You just need curiosity.
Treat every natural conversation around you as a masterclass in intonation. The data is all there, waiting for you to use it.
I think that is a wonderful challenge. And remember, listener, it is totally okay to feel silly. Being human is messy. Do not hide behind the robot voice. Let your voice break. Let it rise and fall. Send those friendly survival signals out to the world.
It has been a truly fascinating journey through this blueprint. The psychology of sound is just remarkable.
It really is. Thank you for walking up those simple stairs with me today and exploring the deep mechanics of human speech.
It was my absolute pleasure.
To our listener, thank you for trusting us with your time. Keep your words simple, keep your pauses intentional, and most importantly, keep your voice full of natural, messy, beautiful human music. Until next time, keep listening carefully.